Aubrey, um, when you learned to write essays in middle school or high school, whenever you learned, did you use templates?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember teachers teaching linking phrases and like chunks that I would just then add, my details to. And it made it so much easier. It made it more sort of formulaic. But
Mhm.
when you're first learning to write an essay or when you're doing it for a very specific goal, like on IELTS, it just makes sense to use templates.
Exactly. And that's the first point that we want to drive home today, guys, is that using templates is not bad. Even native speakers learn to write essays using templates. You have to. You can't reinvent the wheel. You can't
Right.
come up with like a brand new way to write essays from scratch. Nobody does that. There's no point in doing that. And you won't score well if you try to do that.
Exactly. It's going to take way more time on test day if you're having to come up with every linking phrase, everything you have to do. If you have some chunks, some templates ahead of time that work for most essays, then what you're learning is just what you plug into those templates in order to quickly get the score you need.
So, today, guys, we are talking all about templates, what's good, what's bad, what you need to know so you can score what you need to on IELTS writing. We were inspired to talk about this today because we had a great student question. Aubrey, can you read that question?
Yes, said, my husband is preparing for the academic computer based exam. I would like to know if using a template in writing can be detected by the examiner as a stolen essay. Thanks, Shada. Great question. That's a big word. Stolen really hits you like, oh, am I going to be arrested? Is there a fine?
I know, right? I was laughing because she's writing on behalf of her husband.
Yes. I wonder if they thought about it. If he's like, "No, this is good," and she's like, "I don't know, I'm gonna ask somebody."
I love it. She's like, No, 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 no. We're gonna make sure first, okay? Our
Yeah,
future
I
is
can
writing
see.
on this exam.
Exactly.
Okay, I love it. We have had some amazing writing task 2 episodes recently, guys. So many if you scroll up in the feed. But one to point out, Aubrey, what was that? What was that
Yeah,
one?
I moved it because I was gonna share it at the end because we
Oh,
don't
there
want
we
you guys
go.
leaving the episode, but episode 1433,
Yes.
scroll up. This was a writing essay that recently tripped up a lot of students. So we gave you a Band 9 brainstorm about how to write this essay, this task 2 essay about why people don't know their neighbors anymore. So don't miss that episode.
Yes, scroll up and listen to 1433, but just keep scrolling because like I said, we've done a lot of amazing writing episodes lately. So let's get into this. So we've already said, guys, that templates are not bad, but we need to understand first what a template is because I think some students labor under a misapprehension of what exactly a template is. They think a template is like a full essay, like a fully written out essay almost. And that is not what a template is. Aubrey, what is a template for writing task
Right.
2?
It's not even an entire memorized sentence or an entire memorized paragraph, right? This is chunks of sentences, linking phrases where you will add your own ideas that are on topic. So, whatever the essay topic is, you have these templates, these chunks that are very high scoring. They have impressive vocabulary. So, then you have sort of the building blocks to add what you need depending on the essay topic.
Exactly. It's like a map where you just
Right.
fill in the blanks, So in
Like
our
Mad
temp
Libs. You
yeah,
guys have ever done Mad Libs
I
where
love
you pick
Mad
an
Libs.
adjective and a noun, you fill in all the blanks.
But
Right.
it is like that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, memorizing a template, first of all, will not get you a high score because that is not all you need. You need to put your own ideas in there, guys. What a template is, and in Three Keys IELTS, this is what we do, is it is a 4 paragraph map. Right. And it says, this is how you start this sentence. This is where this idea goes. Here's where you put a main idea. Here's where you put an example. This is how you introduce it. So it's an easy to understand map to follow. So you can put in your own ideas, right? And have them perfectly organized to score highly for task and cohesion coherence. That's what a template helps you with, guys. It helps you to get that 7 or higher for task and cohesion coherence.
Yes, exactly. And if the way you could lose points is if you are trying to memorize entire essays. And that would be a problem. It would be very obvious to the examiner if an entire essay is memorized, and it won't necessarily match the question. You might have memorized an essay that's similar to the topic you get, but not exactly. And so this is going to be a low scoring essay. And then vocabulary, you could also lose points too, right, Jess, if you're trying to memorize vocabulary chunks and then not use them in the correct context.
Right, exactly. So I want to go back here to that memorized essay thing. So I understand why students ask about this all the time because there is an actual like box on the scoring section of the writing test that the examiner fills in. There is a box, right? Where if you check the memorized essay box, then you get like 0 points, right? But guys, I was an examiner for 14 years and I never saw this happen. I never saw a student memorize a whole essay. I heard from examiner friends that they had seen it in their careers, but it almost never happens because who's going to memorize an entire essay when you don't know what the question is going to be? Like, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to do that.
That's the thing. You may have had students that memorized entire essays, but then they did not get the question
I'm
of
sure.
any of the essays they memorized. So all of that time was wasted.
And how much time would it take to memorize like an entire essay, let alone like 20 different essays? I don't even know how one would go about that. But guys, you won't do that. You're listening to us because you want to you don't want these shortcuts that don't work, right? So don't memorize any essays. So the second point that Aubrey made there, this is the only other way that quote unquote template might hurt you is if you memorize these chunks of language, but you don't know what they mean and you use them incorrectly in your essay, right? Then, of course, you're using vocabulary incorrectly and that lowers your vocab score. All
All
right.
right.
So let's give an example here of what a template might look like. Aubrey, what is the question that we'll talk about now?
Okay, we are going to look at a task two opinion essay about obesity, and then we will show you the templates that we teach in Three Keys IELTS for the conclusion for this essay. So you'll see how there are chunks you would learn, but the conclusion would still look very different depending on your task two topic. So I'll go ahead and read the prompt here. On average, citizens in first world countries are growing obese at alarming rates. Governments must take action in order to stem this unhealthy epidemic. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion?
By the way, guys, I just heard a three-part series from The Journal. It's a podcast called The Journal. They did a three-part series on Ozempic, and it has all of this amazing, like, new research on why people are growing bigger, why the obesity epidemic is spreading, and it's not always
Interesting.
what we think. So, yeah, I recommend listening to that because this topic comes up a lot, right? Health,
Mhm.
obesity, medicine. These topics come up on IELTS and they're not easy, right? So check out the podcast, The Journal, guys. Look for those Ozempic episodes. Okay, so um, let's think about the conclusion template. Okay, what would the conclusion template look like? Well, as we've said, it's just going to have the beginnings of a couple sentences and tell you what to write in those sentences. So, what we say in Three Keys IELTS is you only need 2 sentences in the conclusion paragraph, okay? Most of your words, most of your time and effort go into the body. That's what your score is based on. The conclusion is just there just to finish it nicely, all right? So, in the conclusion we have 2 sentences. We start with in sum and then we summarize our opinion. And then we say in the near future I hope that, and then we give a hope for the future related to the topic. Okay? So that's the template. So what would the conclusion paragraph be for this essay using that template?
Yeah, so it could be in sum, people are too heavy, and this excess is literally lethal. And then a semicolon. The government must step in. So this is definitely summarizing restating your opinion that you have already supported in your essay. And then the second sentence In the near future, I hope that there are more health policies passed that cause obesity rates to recede. So you can see how these sentences would be different depending on the topic, but they could be used on any IELTS essay.
Mhm.
And then you're just restating whatever your opinion was that you supported, and then sharing what you hope could change if people would listen to your opinion, right?
Exactly, exactly. So guys, we've also talked about introduction templates lately on the show, on the podcast. So scroll up the last few weeks. We've taught you the templates for introductions for the different IELTS essays. So scroll up and check those out. But the takeaway today, guys, is templates are good. That is what we need to
Yes.
know. You need to have a template because you're not going to reinvent an amazing essay. Nobody does that. Native speakers don't learn to write that way. When you use templates, you're learning how to write an essay just like native speakers do. Okay. So definitely check out our online course because we have all the templates you need there. allearsenglish.com/KEYS.
Awesome. Yes, excited for you guys to make conclusions a breeze, make brainstorming a breeze. If you have the templates, the outline, the map, like you said, Jessica, I love that, then you are ready to write the essays that you need on IELTS in the amount of time you have. That's the trick.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Thanks, Aubrey, for talking today. I'll see you on Friday.
Awesome. See you Friday.
Bye.